The space around the human ships was dark and empty. Then a blue light flashed. The wormhole opened wide like a mouth in the blackness. 3 ships moved through it, leaving the known parts of space behind. The biggest ship was called the Dauntless. Inside, Captain Lisa Morgan stood on the bridge. She looked at the main screen and pushed her short brown hair away from her face. "Navigation report," she said. Her voice was calm but firm. "All systems normal, Captain," said Nancy Clark from her station. "The wormhole trip worked. We are now about 30 light years beyond our farthest explored area." Lisa nodded. This mission was important. Humans had only been traveling in space for 100 years. They were still new at this. Every new area they found helped Earth learn more about the universe. The 2 other ships in their small fleet checked in. The Explorer was a science vessel with special sensors. The Guardian was smaller but had good weapons, just in case. "Captain," said Karen Miller, the science officer. She was looking at her screen with wide eyes. "I'm picking up something big. Really big." Lisa walked over to look. The readings were strange. "Can you show it on the main screen?" The screen changed. Everyone on the bridge gasped. Far ahead was a huge structure. It looked like a giant wheel in space with lights all over it. Ships moved around it like bees around a hive. "It's a space station," said John Bennett, the tactical officer. He was a serious man with dark skin and sharp eyes. "And those are definitely ships. We found someone else out here." Lisa felt her heart beat faster. This was first contact with an alien civilization. Humans had met a few other species before, but they were all just starting out in space like Earth was. This looked different. This looked advanced. "Open a channel to the other ships," Lisa said, "and get Admiral Daniels on the line. He needs to know about this." While they waited, Sam Rodriguez, the chief engineer, was looking at the sensor data. He frowned. "Captain, something doesn't make sense," he said. "Look at these power readings. Their station is huge, but it's not very efficient. It's wasting a lot of energy." Lisa looked at the numbers. Sam was right. For something so big and impressive, the alien station had some basic design problems. "Maybe our sensors are wrong," Lisa suggested. "I don't think so," Sam said. "Those ships too. Look at their engine output. It's messy. We could do better with our technology, and we're just beginners in space." Before they could talk more about it, 3 large ships broke away from the station and headed toward the humans. They were shaped like arrowheads and were covered in what looked like weapons. "They've spotted us," John said. "Those are warships." "Defensive positions," Lisa ordered, "but no weapons hot. We don't want to seem threatening." The alien ships came closer. They were 5 times bigger than the Dauntless. "They're scanning us," Karen said. "Heavy scans. They're looking at everything." "Let them look," Lisa said. "We have nothing to hide." John was looking at his screen with a puzzled expression. "Captain, I'm analyzing their weapon systems. They use some kind of plasma technology, but the design is strange." "Strange how?" Lisa asked. "Inefficient. Vulnerable. Their shield configuration has gaps, and their weapons have a really slow recharge rate." He looked up at Lisa. "Captain, if we had to fight them, we could win, even though they're much bigger." Lisa was surprised. How could a civilization advanced enough to build that huge station have such basic flaws in their ships? The communication system beeped. "Captain," said Olivia Martinez from Communications. "They're hailing us. They're sending a message in multiple formats. The computer is working on translation." "Put it on screen when ready," Lisa said. A moment later, the screen changed. Everyone on the bridge went quiet. On the screen was a tall, thin alien with purple skin and 4 arms. It wore an outfit that looked like a uniform with many decorations. When it spoke, the computer translated. "Attention, unknown vessels. You have entered the territory of the Galactic Empire. Prepare to be boarded for inspection. Resistance will result in immediate destruction." Lisa looked at her crew. This was supposed to be a simple exploration mission. Now they were facing an empire. An empire with big ships, but strange weaknesses. Interesting, Lisa said softly. Let's see what they're really made of. Captain Lisa Morgan stood tall as she prepared to meet the aliens. The Empire had allowed a small human team to come aboard their massive ship. Lisa chose Admiral Peter Daniels, Diplomatic Officer Susan Lewis, Engineer Sam Rodriguez, and Tactical Officer John Bennett to join her. Remember, Lisa said as they waited in the shuttle, we represent all of Earth. Be respectful, but don't let them push us around. The shuttle docked with the Imperial ship. When the doors opened, the humans saw a long hallway lined with alien guards. Each guard had purple skin, 4 arms, and held a weapon that glowed with green energy. A taller alien stepped forward. I am Krellfax, advisor to High Chancellor Zelvora of the Galactic Empire. You will follow me. The humans walked through hallways that seemed to go on forever. The ship was huge inside, with high ceilings and elaborate decorations. This is all very impressive, Susan said, trying to be diplomatic. Krellfax made a sound like a sniff. The Imperial flagship is the greatest vessel in the galaxy. Your tiny ships could fit in our cargo bay. San Rodriguez was looking at the walls and ceiling as they walked. He whispered to John, "Look at those power conduits. They're exposed. And those junction boxes are a fire hazard waiting to happen." John nodded. I've counted at least 6 security flaws already. Their guards are posted in all the wrong places. The humans were led into a large room. At the far end sat an alien with skin so purple it was almost black. This alien wore robes covered in jewels and had a tall headpiece. Around the room stood more guards and officials. High Chancellor Zelvora, Krellfax announced, I present the humans. Zelvora looked down at the humans with 6 eyes that blinked in sequence. So you are the creatures who have entered our space uninvited. Admiral Daniels stepped forward. We are explorers from Earth. We came through a wormhole and had no way of knowing this space was claimed. We come in peace and wish to establish friendly relations. Zelvora made a gesture that might have been a laugh. The Empire does not establish friendly relations. We rule. We conquer. We absorb. 10,000 species serve us across 100,000 worlds. You may join them and enjoy our protection, or you may be destroyed. The humans looked at each other. This wasn't going well. Perhaps we could discuss trade instead. Susan suggested. Earth has many resources and technologies to offer. This time, Zelvora definitely laughed. What could your primitive world offer the Empire? We have ruled the stars for 50,000 years. Our technology is beyond your understanding. Sam couldn't stay quiet anymore. Excuse me, but your technology isn't that impressive. Your power systems waste at least 40% of their energy. Our ships are much more efficient. The room went silent. The aliens looked shocked. Krellfax hissed, How dare you speak to the High Chancellor this way? Lisa stepped forward. My engineer speaks the truth. We've observed many inefficiencies in your systems. No disrespect intended, but we could help you improve them. High Chancellor Zelvora stood up. All 6 eyes focused on Lisa. You think your puny civilization could teach the Empire anything? We ruled the stars before your species learned to make fire. Age doesn't always mean better, John said. Sometimes it just means stuck in old ways. Admiral Daniels tried to smooth things over. What my colleagues mean is that different perspectives can offer new ideas. Perhaps we could demonstrate some of our technologies. Zelvora sat back down. Very well. A demonstration. Tomorrow, your engineers will face our engineers in a test of skills. Your pilots will face our pilots. Your warriors will face our warriors. Then you will see the true power of the Empire. The High Chancellor looked at the humans with all 6 eyes narrowed. And then you will beg to become our servants. On the way back to their shuttle, the humans talked quietly among themselves. That went well, Susan said sarcastically. Actually, it did, Lisa replied. "They're going to let us show what humans can do. And from what we've seen of their technology, we might just surprise them." Sam nodded excitedly. "Their ships are big and fancy, but the engineering is outdated. It's like they haven't had a new idea in 1,000 years." "That might be exactly the case," Admiral Daniels said thoughtfully. "Think about it. An empire that's ruled for 50,000 years wouldn't want change. Change might threaten their power." John looked serious. "Whatever happens tomorrow, they're not going to like being shown up by newcomers. We need to be ready for trouble." As they boarded their shuttle, Lisa looked back at the massive Imperial ship. It was huge and powerful, yes, but sometimes the biggest things were the easiest to topple. Morning came, though in space it was hard to tell. The humans prepared for the challenges ahead. They gathered in the meeting room of the Dauntless. The Empire sent over the rules for today's contests. Lisa said to her crew, "First, an engineering challenge. Next, a piloting test. Last, a combat simulation." Sam Rodriguez looked excited. "I can't wait to show them our fusion reactor designs." Frank Johnson, their best pilot, cracked his knuckles. "I've been in the simulator all night studying their ships. They're big but slow." Alan Wright, the security chief, was less happy. "The combat test worries me. They have 4 arms and probably train for war all the time." Admiral Daniels raised his hand. "Remember, these tests aren't just games. The Empire is deciding if they should respect us or conquer us. We need to win." The humans took a shuttle to a large station where the contests would be held. Many alien species were there to watch. Most looked nervous around the Imperial guards. High Chancellor Zelvora sat on a floating platform above everyone. "Let the challenges begin," he announced. First was the engineering test. Sam Rodriguez represented Earth. He faced an alien engineer named Grax who had 8 eyes and green scaly skin. "The challenge is to build a power source that can run this anti-gravity lift," said the judge. He pointed to a platform on the floor. "You have 1 hour." Sam got to work right away. He used parts from a box they gave him. Grax worked slowly, his many eyes blinking as he built something big and complicated. When time was up, Grax had built a humming machine twice Sam's height. Sam had made something the size of a lunchbox. "Observe the superior Imperial technology," Grax said proudly. His machine lifted the platform 1 meter off the ground, using a loud anti-gravity beam. Sam placed his small device under the platform. He pressed a button. The platform shot up 5 meters and stayed there, hovering silently. "How is this possible?" Grax demanded. "What power source is this?" "Just a small fusion cell," Sam said. "Standard Earth technology." The crowd of aliens murmured in surprise. Zelvora's eyes narrowed. Next came the piloting challenge. Frank Johnson would fly for Earth. His opponent was a 6-armed alien named Zix, supposedly the best pilot in the Imperial fleet. They would race through an asteroid field in small ships. Frank studied the controls of the Imperial ship they gave him. "These controls are really old-fashioned," he told Lisa, "like something from our history books." The race began. Zix took an early lead, his 6 arms working the many controls. But Frank quickly figured out a better way to fly the ship. He moved smoothly between asteroids while Zix jerked and swerved. Frank finished the course 2 minutes before Zix. The alien crowd was completely silent now. High Chancellor Zelvora was angry. "The final test will show the true power of the Empire." Combat. Alan Wright stepped forward for the combat simulation. His opponent was a huge 4-armed warrior named Crag. They each put on helmets that connected to a computer. The simulation began on the big screen for all to watch. In the virtual world, Alan found himself in a forest. He moved carefully, watching for Crag. Imperial soldiers were trained to charge forward with heavy weapons. Alan used the trees for cover. When Crag finally appeared, firing a big laser cannon, Alan was ready. He dodged the slow beam and used his smaller weapon to hit Crag precisely. The simulation ended with Alan's victory. The humans had won all 3 challenges. The crowd of aliens looked shocked. Some seemed afraid. Others looked hopeful. High Chancellor Zelvora stood up, his robes swirling around him. These contests prove nothing. The Empire has ruled for 50,000 years. We will not be mocked by primitives. Admiral Daniels stepped forward. We didn't come to mock anyone. We came to explore and make friends. But we won't be conquered either. Zelvora pointed at the humans. You will submit to the Empire or be destroyed. I give you 1 day to decide. As the humans returned to their ships, Lisa noticed something interesting. Some of the aliens were watching them with new expressions. Not fear, not hate, but something that looked like respect, maybe even hope. I think we just changed something important, she told her crew. And I don't think the Empire is going to like it. Back on the Dauntless, the humans had a serious meeting. They had 1 day to decide what to do. We can't submit to the Empire, Admiral Daniels said. Earth would never agree to be ruled by aliens. But we can't fight their whole empire either, Susan Lewis pointed out. They might have outdated technology, but they have thousands of ships. Lisa Morgan looked around at her crew. Maybe we don't need to fight or submit. Maybe there's another way. Just then, Olivia Martinez from Communications rushed in. Captain, we're getting messages from all over the station and nearby planets. Aliens want to talk to us. What do they want? Lisa asked. They're impressed by how we stood up to the Empire. Some are asking if we can help them with technology. Others want to know if Earth would protect them. Lisa thought for a moment. Put the most important messages on screen. The first message was from a small furry alien named Grak. My people, the Vosians, have been under Imperial rule for 2,000 years. We have forgotten how to make our own technology. Can humans teach us again? The next was from a tall, plant-like alien. The Empire takes 80% of our food production. We are starving. Would Earth trade with us fairly? Message after message showed the same thing. Species trapped under Imperial rule, hoping humans might offer a different way. This changes everything, Lisa said. The Empire might be powerful, but it's not loved. John Bennett was looking at his screen. Captain, I've been analyzing Imperial defense systems. They're designed to stop large attacks, not small, fast ships. Karen Miller, the science officer, added, and I've been studying their communication network. It's centralized. Everything goes through their main stations. Lisa started to smile. So if we disrupt their communications, they can't coordinate their fleet, John finished. Sam Rodriguez joined in. And if we target specific weaknesses in their ships, we could disable them without destroying them, Lisa said. Susan Lewis looked worried. Are we talking about starting a war? No, Lisa said firmly. We're talking about showing enough strength that they have to respect us, and maybe helping some others along the way. Just then, there was an alert. A single alien shuttle was approaching the Dauntless, requesting permission to dock. Scan it, Lisa ordered. One life form, John reported. No weapons detected. Lisa decided to allow the shuttle to dock. Security teams met it, and soon a surprising visitor was brought to the bridge. It was Krelthax, the advisor to High Chancellor Zelvora. Why are you here? Admiral Daniels demanded. Krelthax looked around nervously. I came to warn you. The High Chancellor has already ordered our fleet to prepare for attack. He will not wait for your answer. The humans were shocked. But he gave us a day. Susan protested. He lied. Krelthax said simply, the Empire always lies. Why are you telling us this? Lisa asked. Krelthax hesitated. Because the Empire has ruled too long. Because we have forgotten how to improve, how to grow. Because your people reminded me of what we once were. He handed them a data device. This contains the Empire's attack plans and the access codes to their communication network. The bridge was silent. This was treason against the Empire. They will hit your main ship first, Krellfax continued. Then your smaller vessels. They fear your technology reaching other worlds. Lisa took the device. Thank you. But why would you risk this for us? Krellfax looked at her with all six eyes. For 50,000 years, the Empire has ruled through fear. Today, for the first time, I saw something different. I saw your people win through skill and intelligence, not brute force. Perhaps it is time for the galaxy to change. As Krellfax left, the humans looked at the attack plans. The Imperial fleet would arrive in 6 hours. We need to prepare, Lisa said. And we need to contact Earth. Tell them we found a galactic empire, and we're about to shake it to its core. Lisa Morgan called her best people together. They had less than 6 hours before the Imperial fleet attacked. They needed a plan. George Rivera, Lisa said to her communications expert, can you use these codes to get into their network? George studied the device Krellfax had given them. Yes, Captain. Their security is old. I can get in easily. Good. We need to disrupt their communications during the attack. Sam Rodriguez had been studying the Imperial ship designs. Their power systems all have the same weakness. If we hit these junction points, he pointed to a diagram, we could shut down their weapons without destroying the ships. Lisa nodded. Perfect. We don't want to kill anyone if we don't have to. Admiral Daniels looked concerned. But we have only 3 ships against their fleet. John Bennett smiled. We don't need to fight them all. We just need to confuse them. The plan came together quickly. While they worked, Karen Miller made an interesting discovery. Captain, I've been studying the data from Krellfax. The Empire has been holding back technology from its member worlds. They keep the best for themselves and give outdated versions to everyone else. That explains why they're so afraid of us sharing our technology, Lisa said. It would break their control. Alan Wright, the security chief, had another concern. What about the other alien species? If we fight the Empire, what happens to them? Susan Lewis had been in contact with some of the alien representatives. Many are ready to stand against the Empire, but they're afraid. They need to see it can be done. Then we'll show them, Lisa said firmly. The humans prepared their ships. The Dauntless would lead the defense. The Explorer would hack into the Imperial network. The Guardian would target the weak points on the Imperial ships. 4 hours later, George Rivera detected the Imperial fleet moving toward them. They're coming sooner than expected, he warned. 50 ships, including 5 large battlecruisers. They want to catch us by surprise, Lisa said. Launch our plan now. George sent a signal to the Explorer. Within minutes, they had broken into the Imperial communication network. Then they did something simple but clever. They mixed up all the communication channels. When the Imperial fleet arrived, their ships couldn't talk to each other properly. Orders meant for battlecruisers went to supply ships. Messages from the Admiral went nowhere. The Guardian moved quickly, firing precise shots at the power junctions Sam had identified. One by one, Imperial ships lost weapon power. On the Imperial command ship, High Chancellor Zelvora was furious. What is happening? Why can't we hit them? His commanders had no answers. The human ships were small and fast, darting between the Imperial vessels. The Imperial gunners couldn't track them. Chancellor, said a nervous officer, we're getting messages from planets throughout the sector. There are uprisings everywhere. The news spread quickly across the galaxy. Humans were fighting the Empire and winning. Species that had been oppressed for thousands of years saw hope for the first time. On a dozen worlds, people began to sabotage Imperial facilities. Using tips from human broadcasts, they targeted the same weaknesses Sam had found. Back in space, the battle was turning. The Imperial ships, unable to coordinate and with many weapons disabled, were in disarray. Captain, John reported, their fleet is pulling back. Lisa should have felt triumph. Instead, she felt concern. This was too easy. The Empire has ruled for 50,000 years. They must have more forces. As if answering her thought, a new alert sounded. George looked up from his station, his face pale. "Captain, we're detecting a massive energy signature coming from deeper in Imperial space. It's like nothing I've ever seen." On the screen, something huge appeared. It was a ship, but unlike any they had seen before. It was the size of a small moon, black and threatening. "The Imperial Dreadnought," Admiral Daniels whispered. "The Emperor's personal warship." Lisa looked at the monstrous ship approaching. The real test was just beginning. The Imperial Dreadnought moved slowly toward the human ships. It was huge beyond belief. Lights flickered across its black surface. Weapon ports opened like hungry mouths. "All ships, fall back," Lisa ordered. The 3 human vessels began to retreat. "Captain," Sam called from engineering. "I'm scanning the Dreadnought. It's old, at least 1,000 years old. But it has been upgraded many times." On the main screen, a new face appeared. It wasn't the High Chancellor. This alien was older, with skin so dark purple it was almost black. A crown of metal sat on his head. "I am Emperor Doxaran," the alien said. "For 50,000 years, my family has ruled the stars. Who are you to challenge us?" Admiral Daniels stepped forward. "We are humans from Earth. We did not come to challenge you. We came to explore. You attacked us." The Emperor's 6 eyes blinked slowly. "You showed our subjects that we are not all-powerful. For that, you must be destroyed." The screen went dark. The Dreadnought fired a massive energy beam. The humans barely dodged it. "That was close," Frank Johnson said from the pilot's seat. "But that ship is slow to aim." Lisa turned to her crew. "We need a new plan. Sam, what can you tell me about the Dreadnought?" Sam studied his readings. "It's powerful but inefficient. The power core is ancient. The weapons are strong but use too much energy. After each shot, there's a 30-second cooling period." George Rivera spoke up from communications. "Captain, I'm getting a message from Krelfax. He says the Emperor rarely leaves the palace. This is the first time in 500 years the Dreadnought has been used." Lisa thought quickly. So the Emperor is worried enough to come himself. That means we've already changed things. John Bennett had been quiet, studying the Dreadnought's design. "Captain, there's something strange about its shielding. The shields are strongest at the front, but weaker at the back, near the engines." "How much weaker?" Lisa asked. "Enough that we might be able to get through." Lisa looked at the massive ship on the screen. "We need to get behind it somehow." Just then, Susan Lewis rushed onto the bridge. "Captain, I've been talking to the representatives from the other species. Many of their ships want to help us." "Tell them to stay back," Lisa said. "The Dreadnought is too powerful." "No, that's just it," Susan said excitedly. "They don't want to fight. They want to distract. There are hundreds of civilian ships ready to fly around the Dreadnought. They won't get close enough to be in real danger." Lisa saw the plan forming. If enough ships fly around it, the Dreadnought will have to track multiple targets. Its targeting systems are old and slow. That might give us the chance to get behind it. Word went out to the civilian ships. Soon, hundreds of small vessels appeared from the nearby station and planets. They began to fly in circles around the Dreadnought, not attacking, just moving, confusing its sensors. The Emperor was furious. The Dreadnought fired again and again, but the small ships were too quick. None were hit. "Now's our chance," Lisa said. "Full power to engines." The 3 human ships raced toward the Dreadnought, then split up, flying in different directions. The Guardian and Explorer went left and right, the Dauntless Dove underneath. The Dreadnought tried to track all 3, its ancient computers struggling to keep up. It fired at the Explorer, missing by meters. The Dauntless swung around, coming up behind the massive ship. Just as John had said, the shields were weaker there. "Target the main power conduits," Lisa ordered. "Precise shots only." The Dauntless fired. 3 perfect hits struck the exposed power lines near the engines. The effect was immediate. Power surged through the dreadnought's systems. Lights flickered across its surface. "Direct hit," John shouted. But the dreadnought didn't explode. Instead, it went dark. All its lights shut off. It began to drift in space. "What happened?" Lisa asked. Sam studied his readings with surprise. "We overloaded their power grid. The safety systems shut everything down. The whole ship is without power." The Emperor's mighty dreadnought, terror of the galaxy, was now floating helplessly in space. The bridge of the Dauntless was quiet. No one could believe what had just happened. The mighty Imperial dreadnought floated dead in space, all its power gone. "What do we do now?" Susan Lewis asked. "We can't destroy a ship with the Emperor on it." "We don't need to destroy it," Lisa said. "We just need to talk." She turned to George Rivera. "Can you get a communication link to the dreadnought? They must have emergency systems." George worked at his station. "Yes, Captain. I'm connecting now." The screen lit up. Emperor Doxaran appeared again. The bridge of the dreadnought was dim, lit only by emergency lights. The Emperor looked angry, but also confused. "What have you done to my ship?" he demanded. "We disabled it without destroying it," Lisa explained. "We could have destroyed it, but we chose not to. That's the difference between us, Emperor. We don't want to rule or destroy. We want to coexist." The Emperor was silent for a moment. In 50,000 years, no one has dared to challenge the Empire like this. Admiral Daniels stepped forward. "Maybe that's the problem. Your empire stopped growing, stopped improving. You became comfortable with power and forgot how to innovate." Reports were coming in from across the galaxy. As news spread of the Emperor's defeat, more worlds were rising up, not with violence, but with demands for freedom. The Imperial forces, seeing their mighty dreadnought helpless, were standing down. "Captain," Karen Miller called from her station, "I'm detecting a ship coming through the wormhole. It's from Earth." Lisa smiled. "Reinforcements. I guess they got our message." The new ship was the Horizon, one of Earth's newest vessels. Soon, Captain Joe Martinez appeared on screen. "Looks like you've been busy," he said to Lisa. "Earth sent us to help, but it seems you have things under control." "Not quite," Lisa replied. "We need to establish peace, and we might need Earth's help to do it." Over the next few hours, more human ships arrived through the wormhole. At the same time, representatives from dozens of species across the Empire came to the station. A meeting was called. The Emperor, now without his mighty ship, had to attend. High Chancellor Zelvora was there too, looking nervous. Susan Lewis had been working with the alien representatives to draft a new agreement. "We're calling it the Galactic Charter," she explained to Lisa. "It will transform the Empire into a federation. All species will have an equal voice." "Will the Emperor agree?" Lisa asked. "He doesn't have much choice," Admiral Daniels pointed out. "His power was based on fear. That's gone now." In the great meeting hall of the station, species that had been enemies or strangers sat together. Human delegates from Earth joined them. The Emperor sat on a simple chair, not a throne. Lisa watched as Susan presented the charter. It was simple but powerful. The Empire would become a federation. Technology would be shared freely. No species would rule over others. Each world would govern itself but work together for the good of all. "Why should I sign this?" the Emperor asked when Susan finished. From the back of the room, Krelthax stepped forward. "Because, Your Majesty, the old way is finished. The humans have shown us a better path." The Emperor looked around the room. Representatives from 1,000 worlds waited for his decision. "In 50,000 years, he said slowly, perhaps it is time for change." He pressed his 6-fingered hand to the document. The room erupted in cheers. Outside the station, ships from Earth and from across the former empire flew together. The humans had come looking for new worlds to explore. Instead, they had found a galaxy in need of change. What happens now? John Bennett asked Lisa as they watched from a window. Now the real work begins, she said. Earth will help lead the new Federation. We'll share our technology, our ideas, and we'll learn from them too. On 100 worlds, people looked up at the stars with new hope. The empire that had ruled through fear was ending. Something better was beginning. 6 months had passed since the day the humans disabled the Imperial Dreadnought. The galaxy was changing fast. Captain Lisa Morgan stood on the observation deck of the new Federation headquarters. The massive space station had once been the center of Imperial power. Now it was the heart of cooperation between 1,000 worlds. "Quite a view, isn't it?" said Admiral Daniels, joining her. Lisa nodded. Ships from hundreds of species flew around the station. Earth vessels moved among them, sharing technology and ideas. "I never thought our exploration mission would end like this," Lisa said. "End? I think it's just beginning," Daniels replied with a smile. Inside the main hall, representatives from across the galaxy were meeting. Susan Lewis had been appointed as Earth's main diplomat. She was helping species that had been enemies for thousands of years learn to work together. The Vosgians and the Trell have agreed to share their mining technology, Susan reported to Lisa later that day. 2 months ago, they were threatening to destroy each other. San Rodriguez was busy too. He had set up a technology exchange program. Engineers from Earth were teaching alien species about efficient power systems. In return, humans were learning about faster-than-light travel and gravity control. "It's amazing," Sam told Lisa as they walked through his new lab. Some of these species had brilliant ideas, but the Empire kept them from sharing with each other. Together, we're making breakthroughs every day. Not everyone was happy with the changes. Some Imperial loyalists had fled to distant parts of the galaxy. There were rumors they were building forces to take back power. "We're tracking a group of Imperial warships near the outer systems," John Bennett reported during a security meeting. "They're not attacking yet, but they're gathering strength. Can the Federation handle them?" Lisa asked. "I think so," John said. "The new combined fleet has ships from 30 worlds, all upgraded with the best technology from each species, and more are joining every day." Even former High Chancellor Zell Vora had changed. After losing his position, he had surprised everyone by offering to help the transition to the new system. The Empire lasted for 50,000 years because it brought stability, Zell Vora explained when Lisa asked him why he had changed sides. But it also brought stagnation. "I see that now." Emperor Doxaran had chosen a different path. He had retired to his homeworld, keeping his title but giving up real power. The giant dreadnought had been turned into a museum, a reminder of the old ways. One day, a message arrived from a distant part of the galaxy, far beyond the former Empire's borders. Another civilization had detected the changes and wanted to make contact. "They call themselves the Collective," George Rivera explained as he decoded their message. "They've been watching the Empire for thousands of years, but stayed away because of its aggressive expansion." "And now?" Lisa asked. "Now they want to meet the humans who changed everything." A year after the 3 small Earth ships had stumbled through the wormhole into Imperial space, the galaxy was unrecognizable. Species that had been oppressed for millennia were rediscovering their own cultures and technologies. Trade flowed freely between worlds. Ideas and innovations spread quickly. On the day the Dauntless prepared to return to Earth, hundreds of alien ships gathered to honor them. The crew stood on the bridge, looking out at the display. "Not bad for a routine exploration mission," Frank Johnson said with a grin. Lisa Morgan looked at her crew with pride. "We came looking for new worlds. We found a galaxy." As the Dauntless prepared to enter the wormhole for the journey home, Lisa thought about how humans had changed the galaxy. Not through superior strength or advanced weapons, but by questioning, by refusing to accept inefficiency, by believing things could be better. The ship turned toward the wormhole, its engines glowing blue. Behind it, a new galactic civilization was being born, one where no species ruled over others, but all worked together. The age of the Empire was over. The age of cooperation had begun.